We're counting down 7 players who threw professionalism out the window and used every trick in the book to force their way out of clubs. From training ground strikes to the most embarrassing car park incident in football history, these stories reveal just how far players will go when they want to move. Let's dive in. Starting off at number 7, we have Ousmane Dembele's dramatic exit from Borussia Dortmund. The French winger was desperate to join Barcelona in the summer of 2017, and when negotiations stalled, he took matters into his own hands. Dembele simply stopped showing up to training sessions at Dortmund, leaving the German club furious. He refused to participate in team activities and made it clear he would only play for Barcelona. The pressure worked. Barcelona eventually paid €105 million plus add-ons to secure his signature. But this wasn't just about money. This was about a young player completely burning bridges with a club that had developed him. Dortmund fans felt betrayed, and the relationship was irreparable. Dembele got his dream move, but at what cost? Number 6 takes us to the Premier League, and one of the most controversial betrayals in recent memory. Dimitri Payet was West Ham's golden boy. The French playmaker had been absolutely sensational for the Hammers, scoring incredible goals and becoming a fan favourite. But in January 2017, when Marseille came calling, Payet's true colours showed. He refused to play for West Ham, telling manager Slaven Bilic that he simply wouldn't take the field. The club tried everything to convince him to stay, but Payet was determined. What made this so painful for West Ham fans was how they had worshipped this player. They sang his name, bought his shirts, and he repaid them by essentially going on strike. The move to Marseille eventually went through for around £25 million, but the damage was done. Payet went from hero to villain overnight, and West Ham fans will never forgive him for how he left. At number 5, we have Harry Kane's summer of discontent. The England captain was desperate to win trophies, and with Tottenham's continued struggles, he set his sights on Manchester City. But instead of handling it professionally, Kane decided to take drastic action. He simply didn't show up for pre-season training. The club's star player, their captain, their record goal scorer, just vanished. Spurs fans were devastated. Kane had always been their golden boy. The local lad made good. But here he was, publicly forcing a move away. The saga dragged on for weeks, with Kane missing crucial preparation time. Manchester City were willing to pay over £100 million, but Daniel Levy stood firm. Eventually, Kane had to return to Spurs with his tail between his legs. He stayed for 2 more seasons, but the relationship with fans was never quite the same. The man they thought would be a one-club legend had shown he was willing to abandon them when things got tough. Number 4 brings us to one of the most complex transfer sagas in recent history. Just 2 years after his world record move to PSG, Neymar was already planning his escape back to Barcelona. The Brazilian superstar felt isolated in Paris and missed his former teammates. As the 2019 summer window progressed, Neymar's behavior became increasingly erratic. He was constantly late for training when he bothered showing up at all. PSG fans, who had initially welcomed him as their superstar signing, began to turn against him. The situation reached a breaking point when Neymar was filmed partying while the club was trying to negotiate his future. Barcelona desperately wanted him back, but PSG's asking price was astronomical. The transfer never materialized, leaving Neymar stuck in Paris with a fanbase that now questioned his commitment. It took years for him to rebuild those relationships, and by then, Barcelona had moved on. Sometimes trying to force a transfer backfires spectacularly. This one still hurts Liverpool fans to this day. Steven Gerrard, the local hero, the captain, the heart and soul of Liverpool, actually handed in a transfer request to join Chelsea in 2005. Just weeks after leading Liverpool to their miraculous Champions League victory in Istanbul, Gerrard shocked everyone by asking to leave. Jose Mourinho's Chelsea had offered him a chance to win the Premier League, something Liverpool couldn't guarantee. The £32 million bid was accepted, and for a terrifying moment, it looked like Liverpool's greatest modern player would join their rivals. Gerrard later admitted he felt Liverpool was stagnating and that Chelsea had the ambition he craved. Liverpool fans were devastated. How could their captain, their symbol of loyalty, even consider such a betrayal? Fortunately for Liverpool, Gerrard had a last-minute change of heart. He withdrew his transfer request and stayed at Anfield for the rest of his career. But the fact remains, Steven Gerrard, Mr. Liverpool himself, tried to force a move to Chelsea. It's a reminder that even the most loyal players can have their moments of doubt. Our number 2 spot goes to one of the most recent and ongoing sagas, Alexander Isak's attempts to force a move to Liverpool. The Swedish striker has been absolutely phenomenal for Newcastle United, but reports suggest he's set his heart on Anfield. Sources close to the player indicate that Isak has been pushing for a move behind the scenes, with his representatives making it clear that Liverpool is his preferred destination. The situation has reportedly created tension at Newcastle, where the club values him closer to £150 million. What makes this particularly interesting is the timing. Newcastle have been building something special, qualifying for the Champions League and showing real ambition. But Isak apparently sees Liverpool as the next step in his career. The Swedish international has until now always been professional in public, but sources suggest there have been private conversations about his future that haven't gone down well with Newcastle's hierarchy. Whether this transfer materializes remains to be seen, but it's clear that Isak is doing everything he can behind the scenes to make it happen. And our number one spot has to go to the most bizarre transfer attempt in football history. Peter Odemwingie's deadline day drive to QPR is the stuff of legend. The West Bromwich Albion striker was so desperate to join Queen's Park Rangers that he literally got in his car and drove 120 miles from Birmingham to London. He parked outside Loftus Road and waited, and waited, and waited. The Nigerian striker was so convinced the deal was done that he gave interviews to Sky Sports News from his car, talking about starting a new chapter in his career. But here's the problem. Neither club had actually agreed on a fee. While Odemwingie was sitting in the car park signing autographs for QPR fans, West Brom and QPR were still arguing over money and potential player exchanges. As the transfer deadline approached, it became clear that no deal would be done. Odemwingie was refused entry to the stadium and had to drive all the way back to Birmingham with nothing to show for it except national embarrassment. The images of him sitting in his car outside Loftus Road became iconic. It was the ultimate example of a player trying to force a transfer and failing spectacularly. The move eventually fell through completely, and Odemwingie's relationship with West Brom never recovered. 7 players who tried to force transfers away from their clubs. Some succeeded, some failed, but all of them caused major drama along the way. Which story shocked you the most? Let me know in the comments below.